Hello and welcome to TalkFCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys, as we enter now another week without football. A Barcelona news roundup is coming up for you today with all of the latest on the transfer front. We've got talks, of course, on Rakitic, on Neymar Jr. and also Fabian Ruiz and the Dutch trio who Barcelona this season have been keeping a very, very close eye on. It's all coming up in today's video. Let's do it. And if we start first and foremost with those Rakitic reports which came this morning on the cover of Sport, and there the headline is Rakitic Tangle. And it's basically there all about the future of Rakitic and in particular the difference in opinion of the player and the club. Because they go on to say there that Barcelona already have received significant interest there and 3 very good offers from Serie A clubs. However, the problem lies there in the wish of the player because Rakitic doesn't really want to go and play in Italy. If he wants to leave Barcelona, he's got his heart there, set on a return to Sevilla. Barca, meanwhile, want to sell Rakitic to the highest bidder. They want to generate here this summer the maximum amount of transfer revenue that they possibly can. And ideally, they'd like to push Rakitic in the direction there where the most money is coming from. But I feel as though it's going to be very, very difficult either there to get Rakitic to move to somewhere he doesn't want to go. We've seen that in previous transfer windows. He doesn't really want to leave Barcelona. If he's going to leave, he wants to go to Sevilla, and it seems as though Sevilla are going to struggle there to match what those Italian clubs are offering. What I would say, though, is I think this summer we need to see compromise from both sides. We need to see the club there ultimately say to Rakitic, you know what, if you do want to go, we will help you go where you want to be. But at the same time, Sevilla have got to offer something very decent, and also Rakitic himself is going to have to compromise, because I can guarantee you now that Sevilla are not going to pay him anywhere near what he's on at Barcelona in terms of salary, so for that matter, he's going to have to take a cut. If he wants to go there, he'll have to accept that. Will Rakitic leave this summer? Right now, the club want him to go, but that's been the case for the last 2 transfer windows. Then there's Fabian Ruiz, who's speaking of midfielders outgoing in terms of Rakitic. Maybe there could be one man incoming this summer, because Gazzetta dello Sport in Italy report that Napoli president Aurelio De Laurentiis may be ready to drop Fabian Ruiz's price due to the current outbreak, of course, hitting Italy very, very hard. They say there that Fabian Ruiz's price could drop from 80 million to closer to 60 million euros this summer, with Real Madrid and Barcelona on red alert over the midfield situation. And it is interesting because, like I say, things undoubtedly will change after this pandemic. Nobody can control that. Nobody can really know right now how exactly the football world is going to be affected. And interestingly enough, with Fabian Ruiz, Barcelona have been very interested in him now for some time. Over the past 2 transfer windows, he's a name that regularly has come up in terms of our midfield options. But he's also got history now under our coach, Quique Setién, who was very, very key in Fabian Ruiz's development back in his days at Betis. That's something there, and certainly a player to keep in mind. Then, of course, we do move on to the hot topic of Neymar Jr. Of course, there's going to be several headlines pertaining to him right across the worldwide media, but I want to focus here on the French report from L'Equipe, who go out with the headline there of delayed departure. And I actually think here, this is one of the most realistic articles that we've seen over the past few weeks, because they go on to say that the current pandemic could significantly affect the summer transfer window and either delay or completely halt certain transfers, particularly big summer transfers. They keep going to say there the futures of Kylian Mbappe and also Neymar Jr. could well fall into this bracket, which may see the duo remain at PSG for one further season. And I think L'Equipe here, like I say, that seems realistic to me. Nobody's really saying it in the big newspapers, but you've got to openly admit things are going to have to change. You may not see the colossal money, the colossal transfer fees, the colossal wages that we have seen right up until this point. With everything that's going on right now, things undoubtedly will have to change, and that's going to be the case when it comes to those big money deals. And should Neymar indeed remain at PSG for one more season, that for me, that would be an end to it. That would be the closing of the book, Neymar to Barcelona. That would be the end of the story. Because just think about it. Next summer, Neymar Jr. will be 29 years old, possibly not even that much cheaper to sign. He'll still have extraordinarily high wages. He'll still have there a big transfer fee around his neck. And also the big thing to mention, the biggest thing of all, next summer, Barcelona will have a brand new president. We will hopefully have a new direction. And And you'd imagine there, that would mean not really going down the Neymar route again, which means that with Neymar for me, it's now or never. This summer, I would still say it's a possibility. I would still say that when Bartomeu is in charge, when he's looking for that statement, and with the will of the player to return, there still remains a chance that Neymar could return to Barcelona. But if it doesn't happen this summer, it didn't happen last summer. If it doesn't happen now, it's over. For me, it's done. Neymar. Now or never. But I want to talk now about the Dutch trio that, according to Mundo Deportivo, Barcelona have been keeping a very, very close eye on Dutch football, and they have analysed here 3 extremely exciting youngsters who've had a breakout season in the Eredivisie, and they believe that one of these 3, maybe more, could end up at Barcelona, not necessarily this summer, but certainly at some point in the future. We're going to talk here first and foremost about PSV's Donyell Malen, who we've mentioned on the channel before. The 21-year-old forward made his full Netherlands debut back in September after exploding onto the scene this season. Honestly, at the start of the campaign, there was no hotter striker in European football. He was banging them in left, right and centre for PSV. He scored 14 times in 11 Eredivisie games. What a record that is, with 3 in 3 in the Europa League. But sadly for the youngster, at the end of 2019, he suffered there a serious knee injury, which ruled him out for the rest of the season and completely derailed, to be honest, PSV's season in the process. They were never the same once Malen suffered that injury, and of course now he will return, most likely when football is back on track. However, given that explosive start of the season, it's little wonder there's serious interest right now in the forward. Barcelona will link to him there back in the January transfer window as well, and he is one of those players undoubtedly that in the forward areas when Barcelona are looking for options, he is somebody to keep an eye on, to monitor his progress. We'll probably want to see how he comes back from that knee injury, but certainly before it, he was electric. The second Dutch youngster mentioned is Calvin Stengs, another breakout starlet from this season in the Eredivisie. Much like Malen, he is still just 21 years old. Stengs, though, is a different profile entirely to Donyell Malen. Stengs is more of a wide player, much more creative there in the wider areas, and at 6 foot 2 inches tall, he is considerably taller than Donyell Malen too. But his height actually seems to make his technical ability even more impressive. With tall players, sometimes you don't always have that movement, that caress on the ball, but certainly with Stengs, he is very, very talented with the ball at his feet, and this season in the Eredivisie, he's contributed with 5 goals and 7 assists, helping Alkmaar to second in the league, which is very, very impressive for them. And Stengs, much like Malen, hasn't only impressed on the domestic stage, he's made his full Holland debut, certainly there, very, very impressive, given the quality they have in their forward line, and he's also shone in the Europa League this season with 2 goals and 2 assists during Alkmaar's run to the knockout stages. And once again, given the season he's had, it's little wonder that Barcelona will have been keeping tabs on this young man, along with many other clubs too. And it's interesting because Dortmund are very, very heavily linked with the signing of Stengs, and we all know about Dortmund's eye for talent, their eye for young quality. And certainly with Stengs, he's somebody to keep an eye on, and somebody myself, I really like his style of play. And last, but certainly not least, there's Stengs' teammate at Alkmaar. It's Myron Boadu, the youngest of this trio, just 19 years old, and he's been the man this season who, alongside Stengs there in the forward areas, he's been responsible for putting away the kind of chances there the talented winger has been providing for him. He's got 14 goals in 24 Eredivisie games, and at just 19, you can see why Boadu has attracted some serious interest right across Europe. And that's not all either, given the fact this season, it's not just about his goal scoring, but he's also contributed with 6 assists in the process and notched 4 Europa League goals. And for a teenager, just 19 years old, with that explosive talent, with that quality in front of goal, the composure that he's shown, that again is very, very impressive. And it just goes to show right now how much talent there is, I think, certainly in the Netherlands. Certainly you look at it when we signed Frenkie de Jong, when you look at Matthias de Ligt, all the players that are coming out of Ajax, but also you can look wider afield too. The likes of AZ Alkmaar have got a lot of talent, you've got PSV Eindhoven. There are so many clubs there producing a lot of quality, and these are the kind of players I feel that Barcelona should be attentive to. We shouldn't always have to go to the very biggest clubs, to the very biggest players, and offer massive money to get good talent. You can get good talent, providing you look hard enough elsewhere, at maybe a cheaper price, and it's good to see that Barcelona at least are paying attention to these players. Will it go any further than that? We'll have to wait and see, but believe me, these guys are quality. So that there, guys, is everything today on the Barcelona news front. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. What do you think there about the Rakitic reports? What do you think about the Neymar reports? What do you think about Fabian Ruiz? And of course, on the young Dutch trio, who do you like? Who have you seen? And what in particular do you like about those players? Let me know all of those thoughts in the comments down below. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're all staying safe. Remember, stay at home. I know it's difficult. I know the situation right now. It is not that easy to get through, but we will together. Football will be back at some point, and when it does, we will have a party. But until next time, guys, thanks for watching. Visca el Barça.